So what's better, Project A or Project B? Maybe you have Project C, D, E, F, G as well. Today we're going to be talking about focus, we're going to talk about discipline, we're going to talk about saying no to certain things so we can recommit to the things we've already said yes to. We're going to determine prioritization within our projects. This hits home, I know, with a lot of entrepreneurs because this is something I deal with myself, and I did a fun little Instagram reel yesterday about this topic, and it's become probably one of my most popular reels as of late, which tells me, hey, we're not alone in this, and we need to figure out how to figure out what to do and what not to do. So that's what we're here to talk about today. Quarantine, if you're here live with me, thank you so much for joining me. Say hello to your friends here. Appreciate you so much. I'm just flabbergasted every single day that there's so many people who come on to watch. It just means so much to me. And if you're watching the replay, use the comment section and type #replay and let me know you're watching the replay. And I'm looking forward to helping you out today. So welcome to the income stream. Let's make it happen.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Yes, getting it out of the way early. That's what I'm talking about. So Chad, I hope you're having a great midweek here. We're coming in on the weekend. Hope you have some fun things planned. But speaking of planning, a lot of times we entrepreneurs, we plan things. We get things on paper. We have our to-do list. We have our list of projects that we know we need to focus on. And then what happens? We get new ideas. We have new opportunities. And how do we know where to focus? Is focusing on multiple things at a time better? Because the argument for that is, well, maybe one of them will hit, one of those projects will take off, and I'm giving myself more of a chance to succeed by experimenting with more things. Let's see which of the spaghetti stays on the wall, right? Or is the idea to focus on one thing at a time so that we can dedicate all of our energy into one thing, but what if it's the wrong thing? How do you know if the ladder that you've climbed is actually the right ladder? Here's a little fun Instagram reel that I did yesterday, and I am not going to play the music because then I'm going to get dinged for copyright because on Reels, you're allowed to use music through their system, and it's totally cool there so far. But on YouTube, it's not as cool. I know this because I did a compilation video of a bunch of Instagram Reels that I did, and I got 38 copyright notices. It doesn't mean it's a copyright strike, or it doesn't mean my channel is going to be taken down. It just means advertisers are taking control of that video, and those people who own the rights to those things have control over my video. So anyway, I'm going to play this little quick 15-second reel for you so you can kind of see what the deal is. So here it is, and we got... So there's no music again. Coming out of what I'm supposed to be doing. New idea, just kidding. And the songs that I have playing, I have a compilation of 2 songs. First one is Turn Around, or it's actually not Turn Around, but it's a song that goes, Turn around, turn around, that song. And then Ace of Base, which was actually my very first album, fun fact, that I purchased. I bought the cassette tape of Ace of Base, and it was a song that goes, don't turn around. So it's like, turn around, don't turn around, don't turn around. Right? Tell me what your first album was, chat, if you happen to be here. But anyway, this is something that happens every day to me. At least, like I said in the reel, 72 times a day. And apparently other people agree and are tagging each other, and they're like, hey, this is totally us. And I'm just like, wow, this is a major problem. I was going to say pandemic, but there's a more major pandemic that's happening. But this is a pandemic as well. This is a problem. If we can't focus and we are always getting distracted and stuck in the middle and not really sure what to do, how in the world are we going to make progress? And if we could solve for this, we could solve for a lot of other issues, right? So let me know in the chat if you can relate to this. It sounds like, total eclipse. That's it. That's right. That's right. You were locked out of both rooms, indeed. Gary Newman, Boston, Iron Maiden, nice. Got tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. You remember that song? Teenage Dirtbag. Oh, so good. Smokey Robinson. Man, this is awesome. Grind and Grow Morning Show. We love you too. Thank you so much for the kind words. Also, just quick housekeeping item. in about an hour and a half, no, 2.5 hours. So at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, we have a special show that's happening again today. It's not the income stream. It's something called the Smart Tank. The Smart Tank is something that is the culmination of a challenge that happened within SPI Pro. We've had some of our members there create 60-second pitches of their business. And then through a voting process within that community, we have 5 winners. And we're going to announce those 5 winners live. The winner is going to get a spot on the Smart Passive Income podcast at the end of January in 2021, which is a huge deal. 200,000 downloads of that podcast should be really good for their business and exposure, but we'll be revealing that on the Smart Tank later today. So I hope you can join. We're going to have a whole load of new viewers because a lot of the SPI Pro team who doesn't know about the income stream are going to come, and I hope that you can come and join. It should be a lot of fun. The Great Outdoors Learning Hub. Respect, Pat. Been a true fan since 2012. Wow, thank you so much. Awesome. At the Copacabana. Nice. And no, this is not office hours, although office hours, I do have to send an email out that office hours will be changed today to tomorrow, in fact. So thank you for reminding me about that, and it should be a lot of fun. But let's talk about prioritization. Project A or Project B? Which one should we do? Well, first, let's talk about the idea of working on multiple projects at a time. I have a little demonstration I want to share with you. I've shared this before, but it's something that I want to share with you again, just to kind of, this is a demonstration I saw. I'm not the inventor of this. I didn't come up with this, but when I saw this, it completely changed my view about working on multiple things at a time, because that's who I was. That's what I was doing. I was purposefully working on multiple things at a time, and I didn't realize just how much slower things were going to happen as a result. So let me head over here. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. So I want you to consider that we have Project A, right? There's Project A, Project B, whatever these projects are. It doesn't matter what they are right now. This is for demonstration purposes, right? So Project A, Project B, and Project C. And we're going to have 2 scenarios. So we're going to have scenario number 1 here, which is multiple, right? Multiple. I don't know if you could see all of that, but that's okay. Multiple. And then scenario number 2 here, which is 1 at a time, right? 1 at a time. Let me go down a little bit more. There you go. Okay. So here's what's going to happen. Let's go multiple. Let's go Project A, B, and C. And let's just pretend that these different things each take maybe 3 weeks each to complete. Again, this is just a hypothetical example, but it will demonstrate. Yes, I am writing on the desk, in fact. So this is Project A in week 1. And then week 2, we get distracted. We know that we want to focus on now Project B because we want to work on multiple things at a time, right? And then week 3, Project C. Remember, these each take 3 weeks to finish. So we're about 33% of the way through each of these projects. We started 3 different projects. We're making progress. That's awesome. And then Project A again, we go back because we remember just how great that was. We're getting tired of this one and we want to go back. But then we go B again, and then we go C. And then here, right here, we are 66% of the way through, right? So A, B, C, A, B, C, A. Finally, we have finished a project. Project A is complete on week 7. Then Project B, boom, finished it on week 8. And Project C finished it at the end of 9 weeks. We have all these projects complete, which is really great, right? Yes, a whiteboard desk. And then let's focus now on 1 at a time. Remember, the first time we finished a project was here at week 7. And then at the end, we have all 3 done. But let's do 1 at a time. Let's do Project A, staying focused, Project A again, and again, Project A. And now by the end of week 3, not week 7, but within half the time, we've already completed Project A because we focused. Right? Then let's go Project B. B, B, B. Boom. By the end of week 6, when we had yet to finish any of our projects, we were able to finish now our second. Whereas before, we didn't finish anything yet at all. And then, of course, C, C, C. Now, something interesting happens when we focus, right? When we focus, likely, we could finish Project A in 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks. So in fact, this is shortened because we don't have what's called transitional lag. Transitional lag. I'm literally just making that up right now. But when you switch from project to project, what happens? Well, you're coming off of one thing and trying to move into the next. And an object at rest tends to stay at rest. It can take a little bit of energy, creative energy, focus, what have you, to switch from one project to the next. So if we are in fact focusing, we might be able to finish project A in 2 weeks, and then project B in the next 2 weeks, and project C in the next 2 weeks. So by the time we didn't even have one project done yet, you might be able to have 3 projects done. So this is the argument for one thing at a time, right? And then look, I can get to project D here and project E. Or better yet, I can go back to A and make A better for a couple weeks and make, this is a messed up thing now. But you see what I mean? One thing at a time is definitely better than trying to work on multiple things at a time. But here's what happens. We as humans struggle with focusing on one thing at a time. Especially us entrepreneurs who have this itch, this is my universal sign for itch, to try new things. And there's new opportunities coming out all the time. So we experience something called Fomo. I don't know if you've ever heard it said that way. I just said it for fun and it sounds really weird. Fomo. The fear of missing out, right? We have this fear of missing out and something might be happening over there and we get this bright light syndrome, we get squirrel syndrome, like, ooh, that looks cool. Our friends are talking about it. It sounds very interesting. Then we start questioning what we decided to focus on. So we want to try this new thing. And all of a sudden you're in scenario 1 again, right? This is definitely me, Rich. You could do a screen grab of that. Like, I don't know what that is. Sorry. Anyway, we just get distracted, right? So by trying to focus on one thing at a time, it hurts. It almost hurts. It gets, like a mosquito bite, just really itchy, really itchy. FOMO. We don't want FOMO. Now, there's this thing called joy of missing out, which you may have heard of. And there's, in fact, a book called JOMO, Joy of Missing Out. This idea being happy with the fact that you're missing out on things, right? Like, hey, that's going on over there. No, I'm happy. I'm happy for you over there. I'm going to be happy over here. And I'm going to focus. And that's, again, the idea. There's so many books, productivity books on this topic. But I'm not a big fan of JOMO. Because if my friends are having a party and I'm not there, I'm not going to be happy about that. I'm going to try to stay disciplined and focus. But am I going to find joy in missing out on something? No, I'm not. I'm going to almost be kidding myself or lying to myself in that way, right? So I'm not a big fan of that term or that positioning on this, JOMO, right? I like silly Pat Flynn. So JOMO I'm not a fan of. But here is what I'm a fan of. The joy of opting out. It's taking JOMO one step further in the idea that you are really you are celebrating your discipline. In fact, that's what it is. You're celebrating your discipline. You're disciplined to say no to these things that, yes, you want to be it. You want to do these things. There's a new business idea. That's probably going to work, and should somebody take the time to do that, like, cool, it may work out. But no, I've said yes to these things already, so I'm going to say no to them, the new things, so I can sort of reconfirm my yes, right? This is joy of opting out, or Jew, which I don't like saying that because it can be misconstrued for something else. So I like the joy of opting out better. But even then, we entrepreneurs still want to try new things, right? And honestly, I've tried the one thing at a time thing, and it's really hard. I do not have the discipline to just do one thing at a time. I'll just tell you and be honest with you. I do not have that discipline. But with things that kind of can potentially spiral out of control, we can create a container to at least give ourselves some space to get out of control, but not too much out of control. Almost like when you open up a Pringles can, all those Pringles are in there. And honestly, if I just have some time, I'm going to eat through the whole Pringles sour cream and onion thing. And I literally dip them in vinegar. It's amazing. Don't at me. Try it before you knock it. Okay? But I'll eat the whole can. And plus, the kids want to use the can as an instrument later, so now I'm making up new incentives. But here's what I do to combat that. I take a stack of Pringles, I put them in a different container, and I put the rest of the Pringles away. And yeah, I kill that container, but it's a smaller percentage, and I'm able to control what is uncontrollable, right? I'm able to control what's uncontrollable. What's in today's coffee blend? I had a call right before this with a dear friend of mine who I hadn't seen in a while, so I think maybe that's where this energy comes from. But what are you throwing up about, Ryan? So anyway, I hope you're okay. Is it the Pringles can? Is it the Pringles? Pringles, I mean, you got to question why they're shaped that way, right? They're all legit shaped the same way. That's not natural for a potato, right? So, GPC is asking, how do you go about managing 2 projects that require daily focus, right? Great question. Tennis says, you're a chip off the old block. I gotta give that one to you. High five. Okay. We'll get to your question, GPC. But I want to finish off this thought about the idea of trying something new. I think it's okay. I want to give myself permission, and you permission, to try more than one thing. Honestly, I'm a big fan of the book, The One Thing. It's told me the consequence of what happens when you, of course, we've done it already, focus on more than one thing at a time. You get so behind. But at the same time, that's very difficult to do. So then I give myself a little container to allow myself to try something new. Something that is limited in time, but gives me that, when you like scratch that itch, it feels really good. That's great. And it's in a container such that if I were to try something in that space, and if it were to fail, that's okay. I'm trying something that I can learn from, that I can experiment with, that then has a chance to win. But if it doesn't, I'm still winning because number 1, I'm scratching that itch. And number 2, I know that the other 80% of my time, I'm doing exactly what I should be doing. This is what I call the 20% itch rule. The 20% itch rule. Yo, go ahead and scratch that itch, but not too much, just for a little bit of time, because you have some other stuff that you've committed to that you need to do. This is what I've coined the 20% itch rule. And we've seen cases of this out in the wild. Google allows their employees 1 day a week, 20% of their time, to experiment, to try new things, to code different things that aren't in their job description, to come up with stuff. Did you know that Gmail was a result of somebody's 20% itch rule within Google? Gary Vaynerchuk practices this as well. Of course, he's full on and focused on these different social media platforms, but new ones are coming out all the time. So it's in fact important for him to try new things, but in a container, because what he can do is try these things, get ahead if it does work, but also understand if something is not worth the additional time and effort, and then move on to something else, whilst still having 80% of his time and team dedicated to the things that were supposed to be done, right? Yes, Ariel, permission, releasing that tension. Apple cider vinegar. Yum. Oh, the vinegar thing you didn't. Dude, you haven't tried it, man. It's the acidity with the base of the sour cream. Bro, magic. It's like a buffalo wing and ranch dressing. Bro, magic.
Bruh.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So the 20% itch rule. How have I used this? Well, most recently, the Switch Pod was a result of allowing myself to scratch an itch. I mean, there's been many things that I've done, many things that have failed, many things that will never see the light of day, but at least I've tried, I've learned, and I've experimented with. I've tried my hand at WordPress plugins and hired a developer, lost $15,000 doing that back in the day. But it was a $15,000 lesson that I now know about how to create a product and then develop it. There were a lot of mistakes in that case because I tried to rush it. And honestly, I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was doing it to make money first. And every time I've tried to do something to make money first, before trying to actually help people, it is honestly never worked out, right? But the Switch Pod did work. And Caleb, my videographer, and I, we invented a product. I'm actually using it right now, right? This is it. And we now have a ton of inventory worth a lot of money and are selling every day. And it's been one of the most fun things. I've learned so much. And you might be like, Pat, but you're a digital marketer. What in the world would you do with manufacturing and developing a physical product? Like, that doesn't make sense. You could have put your time elsewhere and have doubled down on the things that you've already been doing. And why would you try something new where you have to learn from scratch and it's a much bigger investment? Because I just had that itch, yo. I just wanted to try it. And it would have been kind of sad to just go, nope, I can't try something that I'm really curious about because I've already said yes to these things. Therefore, I allow myself a little container to do that. And that in this case, it worked out. And again, in many other cases, it doesn't, right? It's important to have that limitation, though, because if you don't, then it is going to bleed over into other things that you could do. The analogy I like to use is, and I don't condone this, but it's just a good analogy, and that is if you were to go to a casino. The best strategy, if you go to a casino, is to take a certain amount of cash that you are okay losing, right? Let's say $200, right? And you know that that $200 is all that you can use. I would leave the ATM card in the car or wherever at home because that $200 is all you have. And if you lose it, hey, you lost it. And that's part of the game. That's part of the fun. You might win something too, right? You could actually win a lot, especially if you keep sort of doubling down. But you'll never lose what you're okay losing, what you're not okay losing, right? And, it's entertainment money, right? You expect to lose it. And if you don't, that's a bonus, right? Again, I don't condone gambling, but that's something that, is smart if you're going to put yourself in that situation. So in business, I recommend you can work on both Project A and Project B. Yay! You get to work on both. But one of them has to take a majority of the time, the one that you want to focus on. There might be things that you have already said yes to. Maybe you're already in Project A and you want to add a Project B. Well, you can micro-test. You can try certain things. The other cool thing about this idea of sort of like only allowing yourself so much time to work on the next project is it forces you to not mess around anymore with it. Meaning if it's something you really want to do and knowing that you are limited in time that you have to focus on that project or whatever, you then will go, okay, well, what's going to move the needle faster? What are the bigger, bolder decisions that I need to make now in order to make and gain ground because I don't have so much time, right? So this almost like is a force factor to help you actually move faster on it, which is pretty cool. Sorry for the text message. Right? Control the risk. Exactly. Thank you, Discover Ignite. So, you guys are talking about gambling now. Craps. Craps is the most fun. Honestly, if I had $200 and I was in Vegas, I would just play craps with my friends because it's fun. Big ups, big downs. I expect to lose. It's entertainment. That's it. If I lose, I'm just going to watch my friends lose too. And if they win, cool. They're paying for drinks that night, right? That's it. So let's talk about more of this situation. And I'm trying not to put my hands on my desk because, as you can tell, it's a mess. But we've already gone through that demonstration. It was fun to write on the table, actually. This table is not whiteboard material, in fact. It is a particular kind of granite that is white, or a particular, I don't think it's granite, but it's a certain kind of material that I had put in here that we tested which ones are best for wiping off. This doesn't work like a whiteboard. Like if I were to go like this, oh, actually that does work pretty good. Okay, never mind. You can still see the ghosting of it, and you need to wipe it down with some spray and stuff to make it actually clean again. But anyway, it's not as smooth as a whiteboard, but it is a whiteboard. It is whiteboard-ish. Anyway, this has helped out a lot. These walls, I have them literally everywhere. I mean, even over here, this is whiteboard and all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. Okay, so again, there might be a couple things that you might need to work on. This is to GPC's comment earlier about, okay, well, what if there's two things that you have to do daily that you need to work on that both require your time. How do you manage that? This is where just time management in general comes into play. And I'm a big fan of batch processing and time blocking or chunking, right? Chunking and dunking, right? Chunking out of time and then just dunking yourself into that, right? Chunk and dunk. The chunk and dunk. That just, for whatever reason, reminded me of the pie scene in Step by Step. Do y'all remember that movie? The pie scene? Good times. Okay. Hand sanitizer works for dry erase markers. Wow, good to know. Thank you for that. That is like using $100 bills as toilet paper, though, right? Because that stuff is really expensive, or was at one point. Just kidding. Okay, sorry, too much coffee this morning. So, okay, let's talk about that idea of time blocking first, and then we're going to get into what Don's talking about here, which is my dilemma is choosing between two projects. One that I am a support player, and then my own projects. So, okay, maybe there's multiple projects. Which one becomes the primary project, or how do you know which secondary project to add? We'll get into that a little bit, and that's where we're going to get into a little bit of future pacing, future thinking, and some exercises that I love to recommend for those who are trying to decide between two things. But let's go back to time blocking. The best way to make progress on something is to put it in your calendar, a time when you're going to do that thing, right? So if it doesn't get scheduled, it doesn't get done. And allowing yourself to have a chunk of time to do that where nothing else matters during that time. Within your day, you have a 1 hour period to get that done. I do this in many different cases, even down to when I should be on social media, because social media is in fact a distraction. And unless I'm in that little random moment in line at Target or something to answer a question and pop in every once in a while, I do chunk time throughout my day, and especially on Fridays, sometimes 30 to 45 minutes I'm on social media, typically not publicly, trying to reach out to people individually, mostly while I'm on a walk or something, sending voice or video messages. That works really well. I find really, really good pleasure and also ROI in that personally. But the idea of, okay, here's that time to do it helps me understand when not to do it, right? It's almost creating a time boundary. Thank you for the thumbs downs, by the way. I hope you have a better day. Still helps with the algorithm, so I appreciate you for being here and helping out. I chunk and dunk with Oreos. Yes, legit. Don't, yeah, anyway, cool. It's hard to keep a pace with. Thank you. $100 toilet paper, yes. Let's see. Okay, so that's really the strategy there. If you have multiple things that you know you need to do, you need to make time for them. And I would try to be very disciplined with that boundary that you've set. An impeding deadline does a lot. This is why the Pomodoro technique works really well, which is 25 on, 5 off, 25 on, 5 off. If you need and can't work for hours at a time, the 25 on, 5 off, 25 on, 5 off situation, which is the Pomodoro technique. You can buy a little egg-shaped or apple-shaped timer to help you as well if you'd like, or of course just use your phone. That often works really well because that 5-minute break allows you to come back with more energy. You've had time to breathe and go on a quick walk or get a glass of water or something. It almost forces that break to come in even better on the other end. Whew, I feel like I'm not breathing. But yes, the calendar is my number one productivity tool. Now, when it comes to the prioritization of projects, this is where we get into, well, okay, of these different possibilities, we may have some things that we want to work on that we need to work on already, right? So that takes up a majority of our time, but we only have so many hours in the day. Maybe you work 9 to 5 and you only have a certain segment of time to work on a project, but you're just not sure which one to do, which one is the one that makes sense. So let's talk about that a little bit. I love to... Groundbreak Games, thanks for the support, but your stuff was hidden because it had some not so nice words for our family-friendly audience here, but I appreciate you for the support. So let's consider you have a very short amount of time to work on something, but you're just not sure what that topic or project should be. There's a ton of options out there, and it can be overwhelming. It could be a tough decision because, in the chat, let me know if you feel this way. You're not sure if you're going to choose the right one. What if you choose project A and project B is the one that would work out? Well, what if you choose project B and it was actually project C? And it's like, I don't know which one. Therefore, I'm not going to take any action. And what's even worse is when you don't decide anything, then you're not going anywhere, right? So that's sort of the first lesson is being stagnant, just wondering. You're going to be in the same place as if you were to choose the wrong one, right? So you might as well choose something. even throwing a dartboard is better than doing nothing. Or no, you don't throw a dartboard, but you know what I mean? You throw darts at a dartboard. That'd be funny. That could be an interesting reel. It's like throwing a dartboard, right? Michael Safransky likes you. I like Michal Tool. Michal Tool. Music is Life 92. Thank you. Tell him I said hi if you see him. Okay. So we don't want to throw a dartboard, but at least choosing something even at random is better than doing nothing. So just know that, right? Even if you were to spend time and fail, you're at least, it's never a failure if you're learning your lessons. Guess what? If that fails, guess what you know not to do anymore? That thing. Now you actually have made progress because now you've tested, you've tried something, and now you can work on the thing that perhaps was a better decision. Maybe, maybe not, but we'll see. Versus just, oh, I wonder, what if, I don't know, I'm scared. Like this is very common, right? The other thing that drives me is the fact that, each of these business ideas, if it's a good business idea, it's there to serve others too. These things are not just for you. The decision that you make affects other people's lives too. And again, if you don't make a decision, you're leaving lives not helped. You're not able to help anybody, right? So again, just making a decision helps, right? Ford Brewer, what's up, Ford Brewer? Lex, Kevin, Lisa, Doug, awesome. Ford says, I always worry about choosing the wrong project, and I have done just that most of my life. But you're right, that is still not as bad as doing nothing. At least you're learning. Exactly. But there's some other things I think we could think about when it comes to, okay, well, which direction do I go, right? My favorite tip is to consider how these ideas that you have fit into your overall goals, where you want to be in life. This is why in my book, Will It Fly, we have that strategy in the beginning of thinking about your future and doing the airport test, where you consider 5 years from now what you consider would be a perfect or awesome life. Maybe not perfect, but just what would be a good life for you 5 years from now? Does this business idea that you have now actually fit into where you want to go? Because sometimes, and I'll tell you this is true, I go to conferences, or I used to go to conferences, right? And a lot of the speakers will hang out afterwards and, sit in the bar or get at a restaurant or something and just chat. We're real. We're just decompressing after a fun-filled day. And a lot of times we start just telling stories and learning about each other. And the one thing I've noticed about a lot of entrepreneurs is that successful entrepreneur on paper doesn't mean happy entrepreneur. I know a lot of people who have successful businesses. They have employees. They're making 7 figures. They're selling. They're showing up. They have a large number of followers and fans. And guess what? They're miserable because they feel like they've been dedicated to this space and have had to stay in there, and they feel trapped because it was just an initial potential moneymaker and it wasn't really what they were passionate about. It really wasn't what passion is important, but you have to also make money too. So I'm not saying you have to pick from your passions specifically. There has to be passion somewhere though. And you have to consider, where does this business idea fit into your future? So one thing I love to do when people are like, oh, which one do I do first? I like to consider you going, okay, let's pretend, thank you, Boris, appreciate the super chat, my friend. Let's consider that you are somebody who has a few ideas. I want you to actually consciously choose one for this experiment now. You choose project A, and then you fly into the DeLorean, or you get into the DeLorean, and then you fly into the future, and it's now 2 years from now. And this business is going well, right? What is your daily life like? What is a day in the life of somebody, you, who is doing well in that business? I've had people go through this experiment and immediately go, wow, I don't want to do that. That's not what I want. This business opportunity that's here doesn't align with where I want to go. Case in point, a person who determined that their business idea, and when we did dig a little bit deeper, nobody was offering any personalized help in this space of hers. And so she saw there was an opportunity. And when we determined what life would be like, it was a lot of one-on-one consultations, flying or even driving to different places to meet with people in person, to customize their solution and whatnot. And she was like, I have 2 kids. I don't want to do that. If I were to be successful with that, that's what it would be like. And so I now have to rethink this through, because this idea that I had is actually not the idea that I want. So let's now move on to project B. Do you see what I mean? So the idea of flying into the future to see, okay, is this actually, if it were to actually work out, regardless of whether or not you know how to make it work or not, it's working. It might not be something that you want anyway. And it's interesting just how we as humans, we make these snap decisions about something because of the opportunity that's here today, versus, well, what does this mean for our future, right? We think about the immediate gain versus the long-term potential losses, right? It's almost like, this has always baffled me, right? Gas here in California is really expensive, and the cheapest place to get gas is at Costco. Costco gas. It's significantly cheaper. But there's some people who don't live near a Costco who I know drive 30 miles to go to the Costco to get their gas because it's cheaper, when literally it's the same amount of money that they would spend getting gas down the corner because they drove 30 miles to get there. They just feel good about saving money, even though they don't consider the fact that it just boggles my mind sometimes. Right? It just boggles my mind. Imagining your successful future in a project is a really great reality check. Yes, indeed. Right? Another thing I love to do is based on a book called Essentialism. I think it's somewhere up there. Essentialism is a great book, and it's more of a life productivity style book, but it does pertain to business too. But the general thesis of this book is you take all these things that you are doing, and it's about saying no to the things that don't matter, right? So let's lay out on the table, right? Very similarly, let's use Post-it notes and whatever. Let's lay it out on the table, all the things that we do, and then we rank them. We rank them from 0 to this needs to leave now, to 10, which is I must do this, I cannot not do this, right? It's required, it's mandatory. So 0 to 10, or 1 to 10. And then you just start ranking all these different Post-it notes or things or ideas or tasks that you do or time that you spend. And then you just get rid of anything that's 5 and under, right? It's just very clear after you've thought about this that these things shouldn't even be there. So let's do that with your projects. Here's all the ideas. And then based on this future thinking thing that we just talked about, this thought experiment, based on perhaps your interests or passions or whatever, you can just be like, okay, these are ideas, but these aren't ideas for me. Let's get them out, right? And then going back to essentialism, it's the 9s and 10s that you keep. Like for sure you keep, or for sure at the top of your list, right? So let's keep those. These are the top priorities. This is what needs to happen, right? So let's put those over there. Now you're left with the 6, 7s, and 8s. This is where growth happens. When you can let go of the 6, 7s, and 8s. The things that are important, that you could do, that can be worked on, that you're probably working on, that you probably shouldn't be working on. Because then imagine you take all those 6, 7s, and 8s away, and how much more time and focus and dedication you can have to the 9 and 10s, right? To the 9 and 10s. And yes, it's definitely FOMO. It's like the 6, 7s, and 8s and all that sort of stuff. So that's where we could also run some exercises. I feel like I have to sneeze. Oh my God. Ow, that hurt my shoulder. I just let it go. Demons be gone. What's up, Asma? Good to see you here. Haven't seen you here in a while. I think you were on yesterday, but I was busy with Hal. So glad you're in town. Thank you for being here. Whew. I saw that deadline in an email. The freemium is going away Monday. Yes. So if you go to, so thank you. We'll take a quick break here and then we'll get into finishing this. We are taking Smart from Scratch off of free. It is originally a paid course that was $249. We made it free in March for the pandemic, and we can't do that any longer. We've given away over $4 million worth of that course already, so it's going to be taken away from the free, and it's going to be back to a paid product. So if you go to smartpassiveincome.com/toolkit, again, smartpassiveincome.com/toolkit, you'll be able to get that for free before Monday when it goes back to paid course. I'm also going to be making Will It Fly free again very soon because I'm past the 90-day window that I was able to not do that after having done it before. So just look out for that soon. Bernard says, AFK again, more customers showed up. That's awesome, Bernard. We want that to happen. So all good. Bless you, shoulder sneeze. Achoo, achoo. Thanks again for being here, everybody, and being okay with my antics. What can I do to soundproof a door? The easiest and quickest way to do that, Electro, would be to put a towel underneath the gap in the bottom. That honestly cuts out like 30%. Now, of course, you could put some blankets and other things in the way. That can help too. I think the easiest way is to get a soundproof door that is of soundproofing material. Oftentimes doors, especially glass, if there's any glass on them. And because the doors are usually hollow also for wooden doors, it can just like amplify the sounds. So anything that you can do to deaden that can definitely help. Pat, will we be able to finish it? Yes. If you've gotten free access to it, you have free access to it forever. So it's not like I'm going to take it away from you after Monday. Thank you for asking that. But no, you have free access to that forever. Cool. What did I say we were going to take a break to do? I forgot. Oh, to announce that freemium. Cool. Also, at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, we will be having a special show called the Smart Tank for Smart Passive Income, where we have videos submitted within our SPI Pro community. These are 60-second pitches of their business. We had a voting process, and we're going to choose the 5 winners. You're all going to see the 5 winners, get to know their businesses, but also we're going to teach a little bit about pitching and what works and what doesn't. And you'll get to meet some of the team there as well. So that's going to be at smartpassiveincome.com/smart-tank, and you'll actually see it in the coming soon for the YouTube channel as well if you want to go there. But it should be fun. Maddie, love from Pakistan. Love back to you from San Diego. Thank you so much. Hard surfaces are too reflective. You need some absorbing materials and shape it differently. No flat opposing surfaces. Agreed. Thank you. Peasant Uprising. Cool. So again, today we talked about the importance of, number one, how consequential working on many things at a time can be. We did a little demonstration here and just showing how much faster things can be accomplished when you focus on one thing at a time versus sort of like spreading things out, right? Number two, we also focused on this idea of allowing yourself to, although we want to focus on one thing at a time, still giving yourself a container or a space to do other things, but in a controlled manner. It's when those things get out of control that we start to have things bleed on top of things that we probably should be doing. Now we've been talking about specifically, so that's 20% interval, allowing for 20% of your time or even just one day of the week. I know even Ramit Sethi does this. He uses one day of the week to plan for future related things versus do what he's already said yes to doing. And I do the same thing too. Then we talked about specifically, this is our recap, right? Then we started talking specifically about, well, how do we prioritize these different ideas that we might have? My other favorite way, so this is where we will pick up. We talked about thinking about the future, like hypothetically saying yes to a project now, fast forwarding a year or two from now and going, what is life like if this were to succeed? Is that the life I want to live? If not, then why are we even thinking about this project in the first place? Let's get it off the plate. Number two, thinking about essentialism, meaning let's rank these different things based on a score of 1 to 10, 10 being like, this is a must-have or must-do, 1 being a nope, that's an obvious no. You can start to sort of remove and refine what it is that you have left with. Now, my next favorite strategy is if you have a couple ideas, I would, in fact, in this container of space to try new things, start by trying to validate these ideas. For example, if you have an idea to help somebody with the design of their website, right? You want to start a web design agency. Before creating the website, before coming up with a business name, before coming up with any of that stuff that we often do first, try to see if you could help somebody first. Like help get one person, one result within each of these things. This is going to require you to, number one, go find these people. And that in and of itself can help you understand whether or not you like this particular space or not, right? Just the fact of you going out there to try and find people to help could tell you a lot about whether or not you like the hunt and the finding of that person, or this like space that you're looking into and researching is actually not a space you want to be in, right? It might show you which ones you have more easily access to people, right? Number two, when you help this person, that tells you a lot. Do you enjoy this? Do you like the end result? Is it easy to work with people in this way, in this manner, right? That could tell you a lot. You might absolutely despise it and hate it. And good thing you only worked on it with one person before you built a website and socials and all the things, right? So get that one result first and use that opportunity, the whole process of that as a micro test. That will help you too. This is what I teach in my book, Will It Fly? starting with conversations, discovering what the pains, problems, issues, needs, and desires are, and then trying to help a person to see and validate whether or not just you could help that person and that person can actually receive that help, but whether or not you like doing this or not. And that, again, is another test, if that makes sense. Thank you for the link, K-Walk. Let's see. Somebody's asking about the fires here. We are nowhere near fires right now. We were near fires earlier, but some of my friends live in Orange County where there are fires, and they had to evacuate and had to wrangle their horses and all this stuff, and I hope they're doing okay. But the ones I know moved back into their home and are okay and just barely missed it. But it's very scary. Prayers out to those who are affected by the fires, or obviously anything that's happening in this crazy world right now. Man, crazy. Is your index finger broken? Is that related to the likes? By the way, if you have a moment to do a like, boom, do that. And also, if you can hit subscribe if you haven't already, and of course that bell notification icon, that goes a very long way to help the channel. Thank you so much. Big shout out and yes to thank you for those of you who have done that already. All right. Yes, office hours will be tomorrow. An email. I forgot to hit send on that email, but it is written. I apologize about that. And I use keyword research to validate ideas. If there's monthly organic search volume and lower backlink competition, those are great insights. Indeed, keyword research can go a long way. Online Christianpreneur. Paulo. Hi, Pat. Just wanted to say the amount of value you provide is just amazing. I started my own YouTube channel, and I'm implementing all the things I'm learning from you. Thank you. You're welcome. Hopefully you saw the video we did 2 days ago, Tuesday. We did a video to how to get your first 1,000 subs on YouTube, and that got a lot of Mondays and YouTube's income stream. So 223 and 224 can help you quite immensely, Christianpreneur. So hopefully that helps. San Diego's so beautiful and the great weather by the coast. 10 miles in, it's not as heck. Ariel says, a lot of people up here in Northern Cal are moving as a result of the fires too. Yeah, man, that's crazy. Hopefully you weren't affected too much or at all by that, Ariel. All right, so I think we covered everything I want to cover in terms of just the array of things to think about when it comes to prioritization, Project A or Project B. And here's the final truth about this. Sometimes you're going to pick a project, and as soon as you pick it, you're going to start doubting it. You're going to start questioning it. You're going to start wondering if you made the wrong decision. You made the right decision by making a decision, right? We talked about how just doing nothing because you're wondering the whole time is actually bad, if not just as bad, if not worse, than picking the wrong one. And at least if you pick the wrong one, you're learning and you're putting yourself out there, and you might quickly determine that that is indeed the wrong one, so that you can go and validate that and move on to the next thing. So picking something is really key, right? Let's not stay in limbo and try to just kind of guess which one's going to work out best, because nothing's going to work out if you don't actually take action. Now, when you are focused and working on something, it's really important to try and stay disciplined. The one thing that I love to do when I get new ideas, if I know I don't have room, right? If I know I don't have room for new ideas and I know I could explore it, FOMO is coming into play, here's what I do. I take those ideas, I write them down, and I put them in a shoebox and away for later, right? I almost use that box now as a reward for me to go and look to try to find new things when I've completed something. Right? So use this idea box. It could be virtual or digital or in person if you want. But I like the idea of the shoebox for ideas, because then I know I'm never going to run out. And usually running out of ideas is not the problem. It's knowing what to do when I have so many. So putting these in a shoebox and allowing myself to go in there if and only if I complete the other thing or finish my other topic or optimize what I'm doing to get extra time back to allow for other things to happen. That works out really well. That gets rid of the FOMO. Now you are experiencing what's called discipline, where you go, okay, I have this idea. I don't want to miss out on it, and I won't, because I'm going to put it here for later when it makes sense, right? Camera changing done on Stream Deck or something else. It is on the Stream Deck, but it's using Ecamm, and it's one. Look at all the cords there, yo. That's just a mess. I could probably clean that up a little bit, but hey, you don't need to see that. So yeah, put your ideas away for later, and then be proud of the fact that you are staying disciplined and that you have these ideas that you can unlock for later, right? Accountability with other people, getting in a community or in a mastermind group, or just having a friend to keep you on task can be a really great strategy for keeping on focus too. You kind of help each other out, whether it's more formalized like a mastermind group where you also can brainstorm and support each other during tough times and whatnot, or if it's just literally a check-in every week. Hey, how did your project A go this week? Tell me about it. Cool, how was yours? Awesome. All right, let's connect next week. It could literally be just a 15-minute conversation about that, just to hold yourself accountable, because you don't want to show up and go, yeah, Jim, I didn't do it. Come on, man. Like, you said this was important. I know. And oh, don't let me down, right? That can work out really well too. All right. Pat Flynn, just call all those chords an art installation. You know? In the garden of I'm not even going to try. Sorry. Tamara, thank you so much for all you do. Thank you, Tamara. Appreciate you for that high five. Appreciate you. So, to finish off, you can do it. You can stay focused, and it's okay to work on 2 or even 3 things at a time, but you must stay disciplined, okay? That's the last I'm going to use of that. It's really the discipline that's going to help more than anything. And if you need some help with the discipline like I do, then ask your friends, colleagues, get in your network and call on them to help you, and in exchange, help them too. There's always going to be new ideas, right? I think Richard Branson said that ideas are like buses. As soon as one leaves, another one comes by. So don't worry about new ideas leaving or that this opportunity might be going away. There will be new opportunities, but the truth is, if you don't finish on what you previously said yes to, it's not going to have a chance, right? Get to that yes that you can get to when validating an idea, to know to keep going with it. Keep getting green lights on that bus ride, right? So thank you for today. I appreciate you. I'm going to end a little early because I have to I have to get things prepared. I have to send this email out for office hours, and the fact that it's going to be tomorrow and not today. And looking forward to seeing you at the Smart Tank. The Smart Tank again, which is going to be at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. And it's going to be cool. There's going to be a lot of new people in the chat because they wouldn't have ever been to the income stream. They're going to see a lot of you who are members here and wonder why their names are green and your names are green and why theirs isn't. Anyway, it should be really fun. So again, thank you, chat, for today. I appreciate you, and Asma, hopefully we'll get you back in here soon, and would love to see that avatar updated. We want to see your pretty face there and hang out with you because we're all friends here together. So anyway, well done. Thanks so much for today. High five. And I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's schedule, I believe, will be at the same time. So 9 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. No, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern will be tomorrow's income stream. But again, I hope you could join me in the Smart Tank later today, and we'll have some fun. It'll be a 30, 45-minute call, and you'll get to see the winners, and we get to learn some lessons about pitching, and it should be super fun. So take care, everybody. Thanks so much. And I did get the secret word in. I popped it in early just to make sure I didn't miss it. Y'all can confirm that. But tomorrow, I think I owe you like 2 or 3 Watch Your Mouth. So tomorrow, we're going to have some fun with the wheel, give away some prizes, some books, and have some fun too. So anyway, thanks so much, Team Flynn. You're amazing. As always, Team Flynn for the win. And we will see you later today on the Smart Tank, right? The Smart Tank. Cheers, y'all.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Yo, Team Flynn, you're amazing. I see you. You belong here. We're here in this together. It's going to be... Yeah, you'd think that we would be out of this pandemic situation by now, but honestly, part of what's keeping me going is you. So I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Peace out, y'all. Thanks so much.
Bruh.